Starting with the latest on the deadly midair collision at Reagan National Airport that left 67 people dead. As of this morning, 42 sets of human remains have been recovered. 38 of them have been positively identified. Just over 12 hours ago, the NTSB laid out a timeline of the events leading up to the crash. And now we know the identities of all 3 Army crew members on board the helicopter. Our Jacqueline Quinn is live near the site of the crash where, Jackie, the work to recover more than 24 victims continues. We also learned, as I mentioned just now, the name of the 2 Army service members. Why was there a wait on the 3rd? What's the latest on that?
Yeah, so a lot of people have been asking this. We know on Friday that name was not released, and we've learned it's because her family has requested to the Army that it was not released for privacy reasons. So that was delayed, and we learned on Saturday her name. In the meantime, while we're out here, this investigation and the recovery efforts are still going on right now. But Captain Rebecca Loback was 28 years old. She was commissioned in 2019 as an active duty aviation officer. She is a native of Durham, North Carolina, and she was a distinguished military graduate. The reason for this crash still under investigation. That's why we're still seeing so many people out here responding to this. But we do know from the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, that the crew was on a nighttime training mission out here along the Potomac before this disaster happened. Meanwhile, you know that the conditions out here have been cold, right? The water extremely cold, ice on the day that this happened, but also murky with some of those currents that crews and divers have had to deal with. Conditions now have improved, but the work to move some of the wreckage to get to the remaining victim continues. Yesterday, we saw more heavy equipment brought in, and it appears to be some of the equipment or lifts that's needed to lift some of the debris out. And this is where it's believed more victims are still trapped. So far, we mentioned that 42 people of the 67 have been found, 38 identified. Now, this, as NTSB investigators go over the 2 black boxes that have been found and interview the remaining air traffic controllers, of which we know there were a total of 5 working that day. The NTSB spoke about this investigation Saturday afternoon.
The crew had a verbal reaction, and FDR data showed the airplane beginning to increase its pitch. Sounds of impact were audible about 1 second later, followed by the end of the recording.
Now, that's just the latest there, but again, the NTSB is probing the data of the plane and the Black Hawk helicopter just before it crashed into the jet or the collision. Now, we expect investigators and the work to recover the bodies to continue and move the wreck in the days ahead. We'll be out here and bring you the very latest. For now, I'll send it back to you, Annie.
Jacqueline Quinn reporting live. Thanks for that.